We'll be reading Matthew 7, 1 through 5. What can or can't we judge? This is a question a lot of people ask. In society, we judge people based on how much money someone has or by how they look. Why does society judge like this? It might be because they want to put themselves above others and make them feel more important. But what does God say about judging? I would like to study with you 4 ways in which we should not judge and 2 ways we should judge people. In Matthew 7, we see Jesus teaching on the correct way of judging. Matthew 7, 1 through 5. Matthew 7, 1 through 5. It reads, "Do not judge, or you too will be judged. For in the same way you judge others, you will be judged. And with the measure you see, it will be used to you. Why do you look at the speck of sawdust in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the plank in your own eye? How can you say to your brother, 'Let me take the speck out of your eye,' when all the time there is a plank in your own eye? You hypocrite! First take the plank out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly to remove the speck from your brother's eye." Jesus' statement, "Do not judge," is against the kind of judgment that is hypocritical and tears others down in order to build others up. We should not be hypocritical with others. In the book of Proverbs, chapter 21, we are taught that we should not judge people by their actions. Proverbs 21, verse 2. Proverbs 21, verse 2. It reads, "Every way of a man is right in his own eyes, but the Lord judges the heart." For instance, we should not judge someone by the way they grieve over the death of a loved one. One person might be visibly upset and crying, while another person might not shed a tear. This is not what we should do because everyone deals with death differently. As God said, "Judge the heart and not their actions." This is what the Bible teaches, and this is what we must do. In Luke chapter 17, we see an example of Jesus teaching on judging. Luke 17, 11 through 19. Luke 17, 11 through 19. It reads, "Now on his way to Jerusalem, Jesus traveled along the border between Samaria and Galilee. As he was going into a village, 10 men who had leprosy met him. They stood at a distance and called out in a loud voice, 'Jesus, Master, have pity on us.' When he saw them, he said, 'Go show yourselves to the priest.' And as they went, they were cleansed. One of them, when he saw he was cleansed, came back, praising God in a loud voice. He threw himself at Jesus' feet and thanked him. And he was a Samaritan. Jesus asked, 'Were not all 10 cleansed? Where are the other 9? Has no one returned to give praise to God except this foreigner?' Then he said to him, 'Rise and go. Your faith has made you well.'" People who had leprosy were required to stay away from others because people didn't want to look like them and didn't want to get leprosy and have a scarred appearance. This is showing us how Jesus didn't judge them based on how they looked. So we shouldn't judge people based on their outward appearance. How would you like it if someone judged you on your outward appearance? In 1 Corinthians chapter 4, the Apostle Paul is teaching us about judging the judgment of the soul. 1 Corinthians 4, verse 5. 1 Corinthians 4, verse 5. It reads, "Therefore, judge nothing before the appointed time. Wait until the Lord comes. He will bring to light what is hidden in darkness and will expose the motives of the heart. At that time, each will receive their praise from God." This shows how we should not judge the soul of others, but let God judge their heart, their soul. In Matthew 18, we read an example of judgment in relationships, specifically with brothers and sisters. Matthew 18, verse 15. Matthew 18, verse 15. It reads, Jesus said, "If your brother or sister sins, go and point out their fault, just between the two of you. If they listen, you have won them over." This shows how we should judge our brothers and sisters' lives, that we may have a better relationship with them. This will also help us to build our relationships with Christ. It shows how we should judge them with love and compassion, and it's about building up our brothers and sisters in Christ. It's showing us how we should judge them. In the verse, the judgment that we are using is talking about the things that we must point out are not easy to talk about with our brothers and sisters, like stealing, lying, adultery, and the like. In conclusion, we have studied about correct and incorrect judgment. The way to judge each other is in a godly manner, the way Jesus judged.